Sleep paralysis. It's a strange, unsettling phenomenon, an eerie state between waking and sleep. You're lying there, fully aware of your surroundings, eyes wide open, but your body refuses to move. What makes it so terrifying is the hallucinations. Dark shapes at the foot of your bed, a crushing weight on your chest, shallow, labored breaths. Many people wake from these episodes in a panic, gripped by fear or anxiety. What did people believe before we had modern science to explain it? Across history, in different cultures and religions, sleep paralysis has been seen through a darker lens. Was it demons pinning you down in the night? Spirits haunting you? A punishment for your sins or misdeeds? Or was it something trying to communicate with you from beyond? In the night time, when she was composing herself to sleep, sometimes she believed the devil lay upon her and held her down. Sometimes that she was choked by a great dog or thief lying upon her breast, so that she could hardly speak or breath. And when she endeavored to throw off the burthen, she was not able to stir her members. And while she was in that strife, sometimes with great difficulty she awoke of herself. Sometimes her husband hearing her make a doleful, inarticulate voice. This is an excerpt from a 1664 Dutch physician's collection of case history. In Scandinavian legend, sleep paralysis wasn't just a medical oddity, it was a sinister visit from the mare, a supernatural creature related to incubi and succubi. The mare was believed to be the cursed spirit of a damned woman whose body wandered the night in secret, unknown even to herself. During her nocturnal wanderings, she would visit sleeping villagers, sitting heavily on their rib cages, crushing the breath from their lungs, and leaving them trapped in terrifying nightmares. This terrifying vision was immortalized in Henry Fuseli's 1781 painting, The Nightmare. A young woman lies in a swoon across her bed, her body limp and vulnerable. A grotesque demon squats on her chest, glaring at the viewer with unblinking eyes, like an invitation into the darkness. Now, let's take a look at Japan, where sleep paralysis is known as kanashibari, a term that literally means bound in metal. An image that perfectly captures the feeling of being trapped, unable to move. Kanashibari has deep roots in Japanese folklore, with stories dating back centuries. The phenomenon was often seen as the work of supernatural forces, spirits, yokai, or even human sorcerers. One common belief is that kanashibari happens when a person is possessed by spirits like inugami, kitsune, or tanuki, powerful entities from Japanese folklore. A priest or shugenja might be called upon to recite Buddhist sutras, driving out the spirit and freeing the person from the terrifying grip of sleep paralysis. Other times it's the makuragaishi, a playful but unsettling spirit that flips over pillows at night. Victims describe waking in the dark, paralyzed, with a crushing weight on their chest, and the ghostly image of a small child sitting on them. And in some tales, kanashibari is caused by human hands. In the story of Kiyohime, a jealous woman is immobilized by a priest using kanashibari, a desperate attempt to help her lover, Anshin, escape her wrath. Finally, kanashibari can be the work of ghosts. One famous story describes a person waking up in the night, unable to move, gripped by a powerful, invisible force. They feel their body being dragged toward a window, a river, or some other ominous place, before they finally snap free. As they do, they catch a glimpse of a ghostly figure, a woman's face, fading into the ceiling. Let's take a look at Italy, where folklore surrounding sleep paralysis is as vivid and chilling as any nightmare. In the central regions of Marche and Abruzzo, the phenomenon is often blamed on a supernatural being known as the Panda Fece or Pantafica. Descriptions vary. Sometimes she's an evil witch, other times a ghost-like figure, or even a terrifying cat-like creature. How do you stop her? Legend says the key lies in distraction. Keep a bag of beans or sand by your bedside. The Pandafeci, cursed with an obsessive compulsion, will stop to count every single grain before she can attack. And by the time she's done, dawn will have arrived, and you'll be safe. In Sardinia, there's a similar being called the Amuntadora. This creature is a shapeshifter, morphing into whatever the sleeper fears most, and sits on their chest to bring on intense nightmares. Now let's journey to Nigeria, where the phenomenon of sleep paralysis is known by a very different name, Ogun Oru, or nocturnal warfare. In southwest Nigeria, Ogun Oru is described as an acute nighttime disturbance, a terrifying experience that occurs during sleep and is culturally attributed to demonic infiltration of the body and mind. In this belief system, the sleeper is not just having a bad dream or a random hallucination. They are believed to be under spiritual attack. Ogun Oru often presents in women and is thought to be a battle between an earthly spouse and a spiritual spouse, an invisible being who claims the sleeper's affection in the spiritual realm. A common feature is the sensation of bewitchment through eating in a dream, as if the person has ingested cursed food that now gives the demon power over them. Ogun Oru is not simply left to resolve on its own. It is often treated through Christian prayers, deliverance sessions, or traditional rituals aimed at exorcising the demonic presence, all intended to banish the spiritual entity and restore peace to the sleeper. In Eastern Chinese folklore, sleep paralysis takes a more unusual form. It's believed that a mouse, or sometimes a rat, can steal a person's breath while they sleep. The idea is that the mouse, seeking longevity and vitality, positions itself near the sleeper's face or beneath their nostrils, drawing in their life force through each breath. The more it steals, the stronger and more human-like the mouse becomes, almost like the infamous fox spirits of Chinese legend who transform into humans through supernatural means. In Egypt, sleep paralysis is often attributed to a jinn, a malevolent spirit from Islamic folklore. The jinn is said to sit on the chest of the sleeper, stealing their breath and trapping them in a paralyzed state. This belief reflects the common feeling of pressure on the chest experienced during sleep paralysis. Now, let's step away from folklore for a moment and dive into the science behind sleep paralysis. Our bodies naturally go through sleep cycles, and one of the most important stages is REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. This is when we dream the most vividly. During this time, a small structure in the brainstem called the pons plays a crucial role. The pons essentially acts like a gatekeeper. It sends signals that shut off muscle activity, preventing us from physically acting out our dreams. This is a protective mechanism, so we don't thrash around in our sleep. But here's where it gets fascinating. In sleep paralysis, the mind becomes awake and aware, but the body remains in that paralyzed, sleep-like state. You're caught in this strange, in-between world where you can think, hear, and sometimes even see what's happening around you, but you cannot move, no matter how hard you try. In the end, sleep paralysis serves as a fascinating reminder that while we all share similar human experiences, the way we interpret and explain the unknown is shaped by our culture, beliefs, and personal histories. As science progresses and we uncover explanations for many of these phenomena, the mysteries that once haunted our nights transform into folklore, remnants of the unknown that become part of a culture's unique identity. Whether it's demons, spirits, or scientific understanding, each story reflects our need to make sense of the mysterious. And as always, my purpose on the Black Manuscript is to create a space where we can gather, learn, and embrace each other's cultures and stories with an open mind.